Since taking office, Argentine President Javier Milei has implemented a series of reform measures aimed at transitioning Argentina from a communist economic model to one that is market-oriented, liberalized, and privatized. In 2024, Argentina experienced growth in consumption and investment, with agricultural and mining exports continuing to surge. 1 year into Milei's presidency, his administration's achievements are already remarkable. First, Argentina's GDP grew by 3.9% quarter-over-quarter in the third quarter, marking a significant improvement in the country's long-standing economic crisis under Milei's leadership. Consumption and investment have increased, and agricultural and mining exports remain robust. JP Morgan predicts that Argentina's economy will grow by 5.2% in 2025. Astonishingly, Buenos Aires' stock market became the best-performing market globally in 2024. The S&P Merval Index has surged over 160%, far outperforming developed, emerging, and frontier markets. Additionally, Argentine government bonds have significantly increased in value, with hard currency bonds yielding an impressive 90% total return. Inflation in Argentina has cooled significantly. Monthly inflation rates in November and December 2024 were only 2.4% and 2.7%, respectively, compared to an annual inflation rate of 211.4% at the end of 2023. A report by the Central Bank of Argentina on January 7th projected that inflation could drop to 25.9% in 2025, with public service costs also seeing a sharp decline. Second, Argentina achieved a rare fiscal surplus. In the first 11 months of 2024, Argentina recorded a fiscal surplus of $7.141 billion, reversing years of fiscal deficits. Furthermore, with increased agricultural and mining exports, Argentina's foreign exchange reserves have grown. When Milei took office, Argentina's reserves were severely depleted, but by the end of November 2024, they had reached $30.9 billion. Regarding external debt, Fitch Ratings upgraded Argentina's sovereign credit rating by 2 notches to CCC, reflecting increased confidence in the government's ability to meet its foreign debt obligations without restructuring. Investor confidence has strengthened, and with the introduction of an amnesty program for depositors, Argentina successfully attracted nearly $20 billion in repatriated dollar deposits to local banks. Beyond economic growth, Argentina has also seen improved social stability, with the murder rate dropping by 63%. It can be said that Milei has indeed created an economic miracle for Argentina. As a liberal Austrian school economist, President Milei has carried out a range of reforms centered on transitioning Argentina from a communist economic model to one driven by market forces, liberalization, and privatization. First, Milei dismantled Peronism, which had deep historical ties with the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, and was influenced by both Nazism and the CCP. Perón himself maintained correspondence and friendship with Mao Zedong. Essentially, Peronism followed a communist model with centralized political control and economic nationalization. Upon taking office, Milei drastically reduced government spending and implemented mass layoffs, cutting the number of central government ministries from 22 to just 8, dismissing 50,000 government employees. Milei's administration has also significantly reduced taxes, planning to eliminate 90% of national taxes by 2025, leaving only 6 types of taxes in place. The government has pushed forward privatization of state-owned enterprises, liberalization of exports, and deregulation of monopolized industries such as mining, fostering economic freedom by ending currency and capital controls. According to the World Bank's Global Governance Indicators, Argentina saw significant improvements in 2023 in areas such as regulatory quality, control of corruption, and legal framework, further validating the success of Milei's reforms. Looking back at Argentina's economy, before Juan Perón's rule, Argentina operated a private market economy and was one of the 4 wealthiest countries in the world. At that time, Europeans often described wealthy individuals as being as rich as an Argentine. When emigrating, they primarily considered Argentina and the United States. Argentina was also extremely rich in resources and was known as the granary of the world. However, when Perón took office in 1946, he fully nationalized Argentina's private economy and embarked on a socialist, great leap forward. In just 10 years, Perón squandered Argentina's prosperity, plunging the nation into poverty. Today, Argentines can only take pride in soccer legends like Maradona and Messi. Unfortunately, instead of reflecting on their misfortune, many Argentines still sing the praises of Perón, the very man who deprived them of their wealth. The famous song "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina," sung by Perón's wife, is perhaps the most absurd tribute to his rule. In doing so, Argentines essentially mortgaged their happiness to Perón's legacy. Fortunately, under President Javier Milei's leadership, Argentina has abandoned communism and returned to a normal private market economy, bringing back glimpses of its former prosperity. Turning to Myanmar, recent events such as the abduction of Chinese actor Wang Xing in Myanmar have once again brought attention to the country, now associated with the Golden Triangle and telecom fraud. Before World War II, Myanmar was the richest country in Asia. In 1936, its GDP reached $12.197 billion, with a per capita annual income of $776, an astronomical figure in Asia at the time. In comparison, Japan's per capita annual income was only $237.52. However, in 1962, General Ne Win launched a coup, imposed military rule, abolished the federal constitution and democratic elections, and nationalized businesses. Myanmar subsequently fell into a prolonged economic depression. By 1977, the government had to seek international aid, with rice, once the country's top export, becoming its highest demand import, an ironic and tragic reversal. By the late 1980s, Myanmar had been ranked among the world's poorest countries. In 1987, the United Nations classified it as one of the least developed nations. The transition from wealth to poverty took less than 3 years. Behind Myanmar's current chaotic situation lies deep involvement from the Chinese Communist Party, with telecom fraud and organ trafficking largely controlled by Chinese nationals. The 2024 Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to 3 American scholars for their research on how social institutions influence prosperity. Their findings help explain the differences in prosperity among nations and underscore the critical role of institutions in fostering economic growth and social progress. Their research concluded that well-functioning institutions are key drivers of economic development, whereas countries with poor rule of law and lack of democracy often fail to achieve growth or improvements in living standards. Simply put, democratic systems are superior to communist regimes. The stark contrast between South and North Korea serves as a clear example. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Eastern European economies improved significantly, while Venezuela, once the richest country in South America, descended into extreme poverty due to its socialist policies. Argentina's 2024 economic miracle proves that democracy can bring prosperity and stability, whereas the Perón era, Myanmar, North Korea, and Venezuela all demonstrate how communism leads to poverty and turmoil. Before the year 2000, China's socialist economy was on the brink of collapse. However, after 2000, the West opened its doors, transferring vast amounts of capital, markets, and technology to China, enabling it to rapidly become the world's second-largest economy. Today, the West has recognized the threat posed by the CCP, leading to the withdrawal of capital, technology, and global markets from China. In the wake of the pandemic, with massive population losses, China's economy has entered a severe downturn. Wealth is shrinking rapidly, unemployment is surging, social unrest is escalating, and both private enterprises and foreign investments are shrinking drastically. Meanwhile, China's bloated bureaucracy and state-owned enterprises continue to expand unchecked, and local government debt has reached staggering levels, becoming a major burden on the economy. Despite these challenges, there is still hope for China. If the Chinese people can follow Argentina's example by choosing a free and democratic government, implementing economic privatization and liberalization, eliminating excessive government regulations, and significantly reducing bureaucratic structures, China's economy could also see a brighter future.